We have a question on the board. They said a point B is 10 kilometers due east of point A. A point C is 24 kilometers due north of B. Question 1 says, show the triangle ABC is right angled. And B says, find the distance AC. And question 3 says, calculate the bearing of C from A. It should be that. So how do we do this? First, let's try to draw a diagram. He said a point B is 10 kilometers due east of point A. East of point A means A comes first. Let me draw the diagram very well, please. Remember, this is what we are using as our guide. North, south, west, east. Now, this is our point A. They said a point B is 10 kilometers due east of point A. So this is point A, and east of point A is this. So we can have our 10 kilometer here, and this become our B. If your diagram is wrong, you get it wrong, please. Due east of point A, B is at the east of A. This is the east of A. Look at east. This is my point A, this is my point B. Now, a point C is 24 kilometers due north of B. Due north of B. Here is my north of B, this is my north of B. And it's how many kilometers? 24. So I have to bring this down. It's my A. And I have it as 24. As 10 kilometers. This is my A. This is my B. And it now says a point C is 24 kilometers due north of B. This is the northern direction of B. And 24 is more than times 2 of what this. So if you are drawing yours, telling you the truth, I will advise you draw to scale. Because drawing to scale gives you a better insight of what you are doing. In your meter rule, you can decide to divide this by 5. If you divide this by 5, you have 2 centimeters. And if you divide, 2.4 by 5, you have approximately what? 5 what? Meter. Approximately 5 meters, which is not up to 5 meters. So that you can have an insight of a perfect what? Diagram. Now, this is north. North will meet C at what? East. So this is C. So I can simply join this to this. This is my 24 kilometer given. Now, you agree with me that the angle is a right angle at what? B. Why? This is a perfect line between what? East and what? West. And this is a perfect line between north and what? East meeting. So the angle between north and west is what? 90 degrees. And in a right angle triangle, one of the angles must be 90 degrees. So in I, the angle from the diagram, the angle is a right angle at B, 90 degrees. Now, to look for my distance AC, II, we've done Pythagoras already. And you can see where the right angle is facing is the hypotenuse. These other two can be either opposite and adjacent, any. But if this is not a right isosceles triangle, why? These two distances are different. If the two distances are same, then it's a right isosceles triangle. Why? Here become 45 and here become 45, and the two distances must be equal if the two angles facing them are what? Equal. So I will have my hypotenuse, which is AC. Let me take this as opposite and this adjacent. Hypotenuse square is equal to opposite square plus what? Adjacent to a square. By what? Pythagoras. Now my hypotenuse is represented by AC. So I have AC squared equals to opposite, which is 10 square, plus adjacent, which is what? 24 square. This will give me 100 plus, I'll need my calc here. So 24 square is 576. 576. And if I add up, I'll have 676. and my AC will be equals to the square root of C76, which will give me 26 which units? Kilometer. So this side AC is what? 26 what? Kilometer. Take note. Now we are also asked in Roman figure 3 to calculate the bearing of C from A. C from A. Using this same diagram, how do I get my C from A? C from A, they are asking me what? A. They are asking me the bearing of A, but with respect to what? C. So I will try this, the bearing of C from A, I will have to write it. I. The bearing of C from A is the angle subtended between the north of A and the line that connects C and A. Now, the north of A starts here. The north of A starts here. And the line that connects A and C is this line. So the bearing starts from the north of A till it touches here. And I can take it as any alphabet. Let me say I take it as what? Theta. If that's theta, I can take here to be my what? Alpha. If I can get my alpha, you know that alpha plus theta must be equal to 90 degrees because this is not what? East. So let's solve. I can clean everything now. I've given you the information. Please, this write-up is very important. Now, I want to get it. I can bring out a triangle from this. Or let me use it. I can bring out my triangle from this. This is a right angle. This is 26, this is 24, and this is 10. I can use any relationship, either sine, cos, or tan, to get my what? Alpha. So let me use sine. Opposite over what? Hypotenuse. So I'll have my sine alpha is what? Opposite over what? Hypotenuse. And my opposite is 24. Hypotenuse is what? 26. So my alpha will be equal to sine inverse of 24 over what? 26. You can get your actual decimal of it. And alpha will give me chief sine 24, 26. I'll have 67.38 what? Degree. But this is the angle here. I need my what? Theta, not alpha. Now you simply write alpha plus what? Alpha plus theta, or let me put theta since I'm looking for theta. Theta plus alpha is equals to what? 90 degrees, which is the angle between north what? East. So I have my theta to be equals to 90 degrees minus what? Alpha. So I have my theta to be 90 degrees minus 67.38 what? Degree. And my theta will be equals to 90 minus my answer here, giving me 22.6 what? 2 degree. Since this is to 2 decimal places, you make this to 2 decimal places. So therefore, the bearing of the third question asked, which is the bearing of C from A, is equals to what? Bearing of C from A will be equal to, this is, to the nearest whole number is 23 degree. So I need to put 1 0 here to make it 3 digits in terms of whole number. So I have 022.62 what? Degree as the bearing of C from what? A. And this is my answer. Again, we have another question. And please understand me, I'm moving from the easiest down to the what? Hardest. So get it right. And remember, there's no bearing question that we can easily solve without we sketching the diagram. Take note. Now we have from a point A student walks 8 kilometers on a bearing of 45 degrees from a point A. So A have this bearing, which is 45 degrees. Let's assume we have this. For 45 degrees, what? Northeast. So we have it this way, 45 degrees, and it's 8 kilometers. This A. 8 kilometers to what? Point B. So this is B. So I can take this 45 degrees. If this 45 degrees, here is also what? 45 degrees. So therefore here it will be 45 degree alternate angle, and here also will be what? 45 degrees. Take note. Now they said from B is here now, from B. It walks 6 kilometers due east. Remember we have north, south, west, east. So this is the east of B, 6 kilometers. 6 kilometers should be shorter than 8 kilometers, remember, this is 8 kilometers. So I can have here to here as what? 6 kilometers. 6 kilometers. So this is called my point C. So I have to join my C to this very edge. Take note, this very edge. Now, if this 45 degrees and this move from east to the west of this should be 90 degrees. And this angle here should be what? 90 plus 45. And I have 90 plus 45 to give me 5, 10, 13, which is 135 degree. So angle B, angle ABC is 135 degrees. Take note, combination of 45 degrees and the right angle formed there. Now what they ask us to calculate? They say we should calculate what? AC. And I can take my AC now to be small letter what? B. Remember, I can redraw this triangle if I choose to, because I have it like this, and I also have a straight line of this kind. This is what? 8 kilometers, 6 kilometers. This is my B, this is my C, this is my 135 degree, and this is my what? A. So I don't know this angle A again, because this is 45 not for A, and angle A is between this and this. So angle A is not known yet. Now I'm asked to look for AC, but if you observe, I have two sides and the included angle. So I can take my AC, which I'm asked to look for, to be small letter B, and this side facing this angle small letter C, and this side facing this angle small letter what? A. So I can use my cosine rule, which states that this B square will be equals to what? B square equals A square, yes. So I have my A what? AC in bracket square will give me B square will be equals to what? A square plus C square. The first two letters and this is a right angle, which is Pythagoras theorem. But since it's not a right angle, I will go further to use cosine rule. But this is greater than what? It's greater than 90 degrees, so I can use plus here. 2AC cos capital letter what? B. So it should be 180 degree minus what? B. Take note, this is greater. You can see the side like I taught you in cosine rule. Here can be minus, and you change here. You subtract 180 from this, and you make here to become what? Plus. So working this, I'll use my AC, because my AC they ask us to look for. I use my small letter B for what? For convenience. So my A is what? 6. So I have C square plus C, A square plus 2 times 6 times 8 cos 180 degree minus my value of B, 135 what? Degree. So C square is what? 36. A square is what? 8 times 8, 64. Plus 2 times 8 is what? 16. And 16 times 4. 2 times 8, 16. 16 times 6. 16 times 6 will give me 96. And I have my 96 cos. So I'll check 180 minus 135. 180 minus 135 will give me what? 45 what? Degree. Now, I will simply have cos 45. Cos 45 is 1 over root 2. cos 45 is 1 over root 2, which if I rationalize should give me root 2 over 2. Yeah, so I have 36 plus 64 plus 96 times root 2 over 2. And I'll have 36 plus 64 plus this we cancel this, I'll have 4. This we cancel this, I'll have what? 8 root 2. This become, this is already 100. This 100 plus 48 root 2 gives me 67.88. So I'll say plus 100 will give me, so everything here simply will give me what? 167.88 degree. And if I take the square root, I'll have 167.88 square root of this, and square root of that will give me what? 12.96, which units? Kilometer. And remember, this angle is big, the biggest angle, so it goes with the biggest what? Side. So I've gotten my AC to be 12.96 what? Kilometer. So after that, I'm asked also to look for the bearing of C from B. Remember, the bearing of C from B is B they're actually asking for. They're asking for B. Take notes. Bearing of C from B is B, the bearing of B from the north of, the bearing of C from B, they are asking for A. They are asking for A. It's A they are asking for. And the A must start from the north of A till it touch the line that connects A and C, which is they're asking you A with respect to what? C. Take note. And where's my A? This is my A here. So I've gotten here already as what? I'll make the diagram a little bit bigger, please. This is what's going on there. I have this. I equally have this. This is what I have there. I've known here as 45 degree. And this is AB. Remember, this first line is AB. So if you're talking about the bearing of B, the bearing of A from B is 45 degree, which was given. Point A from A, 45 degree. But we are asked the bearing of C from A. C from A, this is my C. This is the angle that connects C and what? A. So it will be from the north of A till it touches the line that connects A and B. If I clean this line, then there's no direct connection between A and what? C. So I'm looking for this to this, the north of A to this point. Now, if I take this angle here as my theta, the bearing of C from A will be 45 degree plus my theta, because the angle, the total angle from A, from the north of A to C is 45 degree and also 30 degree, which is the sum of them. Now we must get our theta. How do we get our theta? I can get my theta from this. I've gotten my first, so I can clean this. Now, you can see that theta is facing 6 kilometer, and I've gotten my B already as 12.96 what? Kilometer. Now I can use my sine rule to have BC all over sine capital letter A to be equals to what? Small letter AC all over sine capital letter what? B. Now, my BC is what? 6 kilometer, which is 6 all over. Sine A is theta, so I have my sine what? Theta equals to AC is 12.96 kilometer all over angle B is what? 135 what? Degree. Now I'm looking for theta. I'll simply have sine theta to be equals to 6 sine 135 degree. I can decide to write 12.96 so that everybody will understand. If I cross multiply, I'll have 12.96 sine theta all over 6 sine what? 135 degree. Now divide through by 12.96, 12.9 what? 6. And I'll have sine theta to be equals to, I'll have 6 sine 135 will give me a value. What's there is 3 root 2. And if I divide it by 12.96, I will have 0.3274. And theta will be equal to the sine inverse of 0.3274. And theta will be equal to shift sine what of my answer, which is 19.12 what degree. 19.11 rather, 11 degree to 2 decimal what points. Now, if I've gotten my theta, like I told you, the bearing of C from A is the angle sustained from the north of A, till it touches the line that connects what AC. So I will have that as bearing of C from A to be equals to what? 45 degree plus my theta, which is equals to 45 degree plus 19.11 what degree. And that will give me plus 45 to give me what? 64.111 degree to what? 2 decimal what places. And this is my answer for my what? Bearing. And this is my answer for my what? Distance AC. Thank you. We have a question on the whiteboard. It says, from point X, a point X is 34 meters due east of a point Y. The bearings of a flagpole from X and Y are not 18 degree west and not 40 degree east, respectively. Calculate the distance of the flagpole from Y. Now, how do we sketch this? How do we get the distance, rather? Let's try to get a diagram, because the diagram is a great importance. If we can get a diagram, then the problem is half solved already. Because if the diagram can be correct, then all we need to do is to use either sine or cosine rule, or even SOHCAHTOA or Pythagoras theorem to solve for the what? Angle or distance. Now, he said a point S is 34 kilometers due east of a point Y. A point X is 34 meters due east of a point Y. If this, let me draw a diagram here. If this is Y, and they said a point X is 34 meters due east of Y, we have this north, south, west, east, and due east says due east of what? Y. This is the east of Y. So I can get this way, and this become my what? X. Due east of what? Y. That's where X is what? Located. And the distance is what? 34 what? Meter. Now again it says the bearing of a flagpole from X, the bearing of a flagpole from X and Y are not 18 degree west and not 40 degree east, respectively. So from X we have not 18 degree west, and from Y we have not 40 degree what? East. So where's my X? This is my X. For my X, the bearing is what? North, 18 degree west. This is my north, and this is my west. 18 degree is very tiny, remember. 18 degree. And from my Y is 40 degree north of east. 40 degrees, not up to 45. So wherever they meet. So that's where they meet. Remember, north 40 degree must start from here, 40 degree. And 40 degree northeast will be this. With respect to the north, take note. So we've done that. Now, I should have an angle here. I should equally have an angle here. Since this is northeast, I will have 90 minus 40 to have this angle, which is what? 50 degree. And I'll have 90 minus this to have this, which should give me 72 what? Degree. If I've gotten two angles, that simply means I can get the third angle, because this now will be, this is what? Alternate angle. So this should be 18 degree, And this also should be what? If this is 40, then here should be what? 40 degree also. So I have 18 plus 40 giving me what? 58 degree. So if we do sum of angles in a triangle, if we check sum of angle in a triangle, this total will give me 180. So 50 plus 72 plus 58 giving me 180. You see it. And even if I see soft, if I see say 180 minus 50 minus 72, it can still give me this. Remember, 180 minus 50 minus 72 giving me 58. So you see how we got this total angle. We use alternate angle from this side to get this, and we use alternate angle from this side to get this. Now we are asked to look for the distance of the flagpole from Y. Distance of the flagpole from Y. Remember here become what? Flagpole, which I can take as F. Distance of the flagpole from what? Y. So let me take it as, so I only need my triangle. I can get my triangle hat now to give me something like this. 58 degree, 50 degree, and what? 72 what? Degree. This 34 what? Meter. And this is the distance between Y and X. This is my what? Flagpole. So I'm looking for what? Fy. But using my relationship, this will be small letter x, small letter y, and small letter what? F. And since I'm looking for what? Yf, which is distance of the flagpole from y, I will simply use x. So I'll have x squared to be equals to what? Distance of flagpole from f, which is what? Yf, also squared. This is equal to this, remember. And I'll have f, what am I doing? Okay, I can't use this since I don't know this third side. Going for the third side is a waste of time, so I'll simply use my what? Sine rule. So for sine rule, I'll have x all over sine what? X, capital letter X, equals to what? This known side and the known angle. F all over the known angle, sine, capital letter what? F. This will give me what? X. But remember, S is equivalent to what? Fy. So let me just use my X. Sine, my angle S is 72 what? Degree. Equals to my F. Here's my F. 34. All over sine, capital letter F, which is what? 58 what? Degree. And I'll have X to be equals to 34 cross multiply. 34 sine 72 degree. And even if I put sine 58 degree here and times, they will still divide through. But I'm doing this because of what? Simplicity. Sine 58 degrees. So this will cancel this, and I'll have x to be equals to 34 sine 70 divided by sine 58. 34 sine 72 rather, giving me 32.336, and divided by sine 58. I will have 38.12, or have to two decimal places, so I have 38.13 watts, which units? Meter, to what? 2 decimal watt places. This is my what? Answer. And you can see that my 38, which is a bigger angle, is bigger than my bigger side, which is bigger than this smaller angle, which is 58, having 34. So this is my answer, which is the distance of the flagpole from the what? From what? Y. Thank you. We have another question on the whiteboard. It says a man walks due west for 4 kilometers. He then changes direction and walks on a bearing of 197 degrees until he is southwest of his starting point. Said, how far is he then from his starting point? Now it said a man walks due west for 4 kilometers. Let's assume this is the position of the man. Remember, we have this as our guide. North, south, west, east. He walks due west. So this is the western direction, due west. So this is like the starting point. He walks due west for 4 kilometers. So this is 4 kilometers. And I can take this as initial point. Then they said he then changes direction and walks on a bearing of 197 degrees 197 is greater than 180. Remember, so it should be southwest. So to get it, I'll simply, to get the angle it inclined with the south, I'll say 197 minus what? 180. So I have 17 degree, which is a very small angle it's made with the south. So this is what? 17 what? Degree. Until is southwest of his starting point. Until is southwest of his starting point. This is south. This is starting point, remember. This is the south and this is the west of the starting point. Southwest. So southwest, the southwest given there simply means, I told you in our last class, southwest means south 45 degree west. To bisect southwest, southwest is 90, so if you bisect it, you're having 45 degree each. So you have this as a midpoint till it touches this. So we have this here. Both lines must meet here, remember. So we've gotten this. Remember, if this is 17, then here must be what? 17 degree, alternate what? Angles. Now remember, this is 45 degree, and here also 45 what? Degree. Now, this is a right angle, which is southeast for the what? Initial point. So this is 90 degree. Now, if I say 90 plus 17, so 17 plus 90 will give me 107 what? Degree. Now, I've gotten 107 degree. Now, I'm asked to look for how far is E then. E then means the final point from the what? Starting point. How far is it then from starting point? Then, which is the final point from the what? Starting point. Now, this is capital letter I, which is angle 107 degrees. This can be small letter I. If this is capital letter F, then here can be small letter what? F. And this becomes small letter what? X. Now, I have two angles known already from this triangle. This is how the triangle is. I don't know this angle theta. This is 107 degree. This is what? 45 degree. This is I, X, and what? F. So I can get my X, my theta, which is F. To get my F, I can simply say theta, which is I'm taking here now as theta. Theta plus what? 107 degree plus 45 degree equals to 180 what? Degree. And theta will be equals to 180 degree minus 107 degree minus 45 degree. And theta will be equals to 180 minus 45. So theta is 28 what? Degree. So theta is 28 degree. So I can replace here with what? 28 what? Degree. Take note of this solving, please. So let me get some part of the board. 3. So I've gotten my theta, and the angle the side facing the theta is this, and the side facing my angle I is this, and I'm looking for I, which is distance from the final point from the word starting point. So I can have from sine rule I all over sine 1 and sine capital letter I equals to what? F all over sine capital letter what? F. Now my I is what I'm looking for. I, small letter I, all over sine. Angle I is 107 degree equals to F. Where is my F is 4? All over sine F, sine 28 what? Degree. So making I sort of formula, I'll have I sine 28 degree to be equals to 4 sine 107 what? Degree. And I'll divide through by sine 28 degrees since I'm looking for I. Sine 28 what? Degree. So I will be equals to 4 sine 107, which gives me 3.8252 divided by sine 28 degree, which gives me 8.1479, which units? Kilometer, which is approximately equals to, so the distance from the final point for the starting point, which is equals to Fx, is equals to 8.12 kilometer, which is approximately to what? How many significant figure? 2 or 3 significant figure, or you say 2 decimal what? Points, any of them is the same. So that's what our answer to that problem. Thank you. So we have a question on the whiteboard. It says a girl starts from a point A and walks 285 meters to B on a bearing of 078 degree. She then walks due south to a point C, which is 307 meters from A. What is the bearing of A from C? And what is BC? So how do we resolve this question? Let's try to get our diagram correctly. Solution. Again, start from a point A and walks this to B. From a point A simply means A has this bearing. Take note, from a point A means A has that bearing. So at a point A, it covers a bearing of what? 78 degree. So this is A. 78 what? Degree. Should be this way. So if this 78 degrees, a wide bearing, here should be bigger. 78 should be bigger than what was left here. So we have 78 degrees from a point A, and the distance is what? 285 what? Meter. And if this is 78, here should be left with what? 90 minus 78, which is what? 12 degrees. So this becomes 78 degree, alternate angle, and this becomes what? 12 what? Degree. Take note. So we've written all the information at the first information. So remember, A has that bearing of 78 degree. Then it says, she then walks due south. From B now, move from A to B. She then walked due south to a point C. This is south. This is B. So south of this, due south. And that distance, this distance here must be longer than this other distance, remember. So when you are doing it, try to make your distance of B to C to be longer than A, because 307 is greater than 285. Take note. 307 what? Meter. He then walked due south to a point C, which is 307 meter from A. 307 meter from A. So this is not BC. They gave AC. So this should come down a little more, because A must be seen to be bigger. 307 from C to A must be seen bigger than this. So the diagram should be of this kind. Yeah. Now, we've done that. And I'll put my distance, 307 what? Meter. Take note. She then walks due south. This is south of B. She keeps walking until, and the distance is what? 307 meter. C is 307 meter from what? A. So this is the distance given, not this. Take note, if you put it here, then you've gotten it what? Wrong. This is my C. Now I know this angle. They said, what is the bearing of A from C? Bearing of A from C, they are asking you what? C. Bearing of A from C is simply the distance of this till it touches the point what? A. So if I want that, I must get this by theta. The bearing of A from C is simply 90 degree plus 90 degree plus 90 degree plus my what? Theta. And I can't get theta without knowing this angle here. So I need to know this angle. Let this angle be alpha. Then remember, alpha plus theta will be equal to what? 90 degree. So we get alpha first. How do we get alpha? I know my side and I know I'm looking for the angle. I know my side and I'm looking. I know my angle and I know my side. So I can use this and this and this. I have three information. I can use sine wave to get this. So let's see. So I can clean all the information now, aside the question asked. So the two questions asked is simply bearing of A from C and also distance BC. So I can clean everything here because my diagram is needed. Now, Having this, I can use my sign. You can see that length AB all over what? Sine alpha will be equals to length AC all over sine 78 what? Degree. You can decide to say sine C, sine B first, and later you input. So we have AB. AB is what? 285 all over sine alpha is what? By question. Equals to AC. AC is what? 307 all over, and the angle B is what? 78 what? Degree. Now if I cross multiply, I'll have 307 sine alpha to be equals to 285 sine what? 78 degree. And I'll divide through by what? 307 since I'm looking for alpha. And I'll have sine alpha to be equals to 285 sine 78 gives me 278.77. So I'll divide by 307 and I'll have 0.908, and alpha will be equals to sine inverse of 0.908, and alpha will be equals to shift sign of my answer. So my alpha is 65.24 degree. But remember, alpha plus theta is equals to what? 90 degree. And theta will be equals to what? 90 degree minus what? Alpha, which equal 90 degree minus 65.24 what? Degree. And theta will be equals to, and I'll have 24.76 what? Degree for my what? Theta. But I remember I told you the bearing of A from C is the angle sustained from the north of C till it touches the line that connects what? AC. So we have 90 degree plus 90 degree plus 90 degree, which is 270 degree. Here to here is 270 degree. So we have 270 degree plus what? Theta. So bearing of A from C is equals to what? 270 degree plus what? Theta, which equals 270 degree plus 24.76 what degree, which will give me 294.8 what degree. So this is the bearing of A from C. Now we are also asked to look for our what? BC. To get our BC, since we know two sides, we know this side and this angle. We don't know this side, and we don't also know the words. We don't know this angle, neither do we know this side. But if this angle is known, we can simply take this angle to be, let me say this is phi now. Then I'll simply have phi plus 78 degree plus alpha to be equals to 180 what? Degree. And I'll have my phi plus 78 degree plus my alpha. My alpha is what? 65.24. 65.24 degree equals to 180 what? Degree. And phi will be equals to 180 degree minus 78 degree minus 65.24 what? Degree. And phi will be equals to 180 minus 78 minus 65.24, giving 36.76 what? Degree. So this angle here is 36.76 what? Degree. So I've gotten that. I can therefore get my BC. So to get my BC, since this angle is known, this is my BC, remember. I'll have BC all over sine, the angle facing it, 36.76 degree to be equals to, which other side angle do I know? I've known my alpha already, so I can use this. So I have my, okay, let me use what they give. AC all over the angle sine of what? B. So I have BC to be equals to BC all over sine 36.76 degree to be equals to AC. Here's my AC. This is 307. 307 all over sine the value of B, 78 degree. So my BC will be equals to 307 sine, if I cross multiply, 307 sine 36.76 degree divided by sine 78 degree. And my BC will be equals to sine of that angle, giving me that times 307, giving me this divided by sine 78. So I therefore have my BC to be 187.8 watts, which units? Meter. So this is my what? Final answer. So I have a bearing of A from C to be 294.8 degree, and my distance BC to be 187.8 meter. Thank you and God bless you.